Here we go. 365 Sports, Sikkim 365 Radio, John McClain, Houston Chronicle. John, that Cowboys game, and obviously they have teased people before, but they have everything, it seems like, on offense. My question for you is, for them to go in there and throw up on themselves, have a lot of penalties go against them, fumble the ball, not make it at the 4th and 1, how good are they and resilient is this specific team?
Well, first of all, they're lucky that the Patriots are not very good. The week before, a rookie quarterback here, Davis Mills, had the best game of any rookie quarterback in Bill Belichick's 20 years against the Patriots, and the Patriots won 25-22. So it stood to reason that Dak Prescott, with all his great offensive talent, that they would put on a show. And the Patriots played about as well as they could play. Mac Jones played as well as he could play, and the Cowboys were able to escape with that victory. And they're running away with the NFC East just like everybody thought they would. The key now, stay healthy, mainly keep Dak Prescott healthy. And it's scary when you see a guy walking off in a boot, but they've got the bye week for him to rest. And the defense, of course, it didn't acquit itself that well against a rookie quarterback. They should have played better overall, but it's still a better defense. And what I like about the Cowboys, they have balance. They've improved under Dan Quinn, and they have balance on offense. And it looks like people are going to praise Kellen Moore into a head coaching job. And Dan Quinn, he's not going to be going anywhere for a while, although he'd like another shot at being a head coach again. But I think people better enjoy Kellen Moore for one more season because he's gone.
Do you think that the Cowboys would run into a problem replacing him, given that this is kind of his offense? I mean, it's not anything Jason Garrett did, and I don't know how much of it is Mike McCarthy's. It's very much Kellen Moore kind of doing whatever he wants.
It's very interesting. When Mike McCarthy took the job, he wanted to call the plays. He'd call the plays in Green Bay. He'd call the plays at San Francisco as an offensive coordinator. And then all of a sudden he announced Kellen Moore is going to call plays. Now, who do you think told him that? Well, Jerry Jones. So he let Moore do it, and we didn't get a good indication of how good Moore is. It's amazing, isn't it, how much better a coach looks when Dak Prescott's playing over Andy Dalton. And so if Prescott stays healthy enough and keeps playing, he'll help him get a head coaching job, whether there's somebody they like on the staff, whether McCarthy would take it over next season, which I'm guessing he would. And that'll allow him to finally get his hands on that responsibility.
John, Whitney Mercilus moving on. Looked like it was a mutual agreement based on what I was reading earlier between he and the Texans franchise. Your thoughts on Whitney Mercilus, who's been there for going on 9 seasons now in Houston?
Yeah, he was drafted between J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins. Class act, did a lot of things off the field in the community. In fact, today he made an appearance for his foundation at an elementary school. The media went to interview him, and he was classy as always. His snaps and his production had gone down. They were playing other players, so he said, hey, if I'm not going to play, let me go. They said okay, and he's got to be doing cartwheels out of Houston to get away from one of the worst teams in the league and a chance to go to a playoff team.
I want to get back to the Cowboys for a second and Dak Prescott, what he's doing. Obviously, he has this calf thing that's got people a little bit up in arms. But I saw this stat they send out, as you know, John, you get it. You probably know it before they write it. In 39 games, he's got 39 games of 100 or higher passer rating. He's only behind Aaron Rodgers, and this is his 39th game. Aaron Rodgers had 43 and Romo had 41 by their 75th start. This is insane what he's doing. He has weapons. He's got a great running game. But how impressed are you on how he has played already this year?
Well, I was surprised that he came back and played as well as he did early, going to that first game that they could have won against the Buccaneers. After watching all the Hard Knocks, I thought, well, he's going to take him a little while to get back to where he was before he blew out his ankle. And if he didn't skip a beat, now if he wants to be a great quarterback, and you got to win playoff games. They won one, what was it, 2 years ago when he beat Seattle after they won the division and lost at the Rams. They got to win in the playoffs. You know, you guys know how Jerry Jones, I think he probably give up his yacht, his helicopter, maybe one of his jets to be able to win another Super Bowl, to get out from under the Jimmy Johnson stigma that he won 2 with Jimmy and then he hired Barry Switzer and he won with Jimmy's players. And I hope that Jerry Jones does that because I know how much it means to him. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it with Prescott. I'm just looking back, they made bad decisions not to pay him sooner than they did when they waited. It's not too late because they got him under contract finally, but he's playing great. They put good players around him, good offensive line. Lyle Collins is back. You know, if they can keep those guys healthy and not being suspended, then he's going to have a lot of protection. He's got 2 running backs and just loaded with receivers. And last year was a good example in the draft when you take not what you need, but the best player available. And that, of course, being CeeDee Lamb has been tremendous.
John, what did you think of the decision last night by the Bills to go for it?
It's so funny, Paul. There's all kinds of stories this week about how many more times coaches are going for it now. They don't understand analytics. The general manager and the owners, if they don't understand it, they have people telling them it was the right decision. It happens a lot. You know, I don't have a problem with a coach. If you got Josh Allen and you got an offense that's loaded, now I would not have done a sneak. I would have put him back, given him an opportunity to hand off the back, run it himself, or throw it. 3 options instead of a sneak. And they tried to do a quick snap and be cute. And Jeffrey Simmons, one of the most underrated interior linemen in the NFL, led the charge to stop it. And then Mike Vrabel was able to go empty his pants after that. And I just thought that I don't have a problem with Sean McDermott doing it because they're still going to be a great team. And I don't think today when a coach, if you do it on your side of the field, somebody told me somebody did it in his 20-something and gave up a touchdown. Now, that's ridiculous. If you've got a great offense or a great defense, okay, do it when you get in your territory close to midfield and risk a touchdown or a field goal. But once you get on the other side of midfield, I don't blame coaches for doing it. The Texans have done it now 5 times in the last 2 games, and they've succeeded on 4 with a rookie quarterback, Davis Mills, converting each time.
So what is the concern factor in the city of Houston with the Red Sox pounding the Astros pitching staff?
Oh, you can imagine. It's the worst playoff pitching performance I've ever seen. And they can't say it's because of Lance McCullers. They won the game that McCullers would have started the first one. And now they just collapsed. I mean, Framber Valdez stunk it up. Luis Garcia stunk it up. Jose Urquidy stunk it up. Now they're going to give Zach Greinke a chance to stink it up. I just like to see one of them get through 3 innings. And I like to see the hitters start hitting some more because this is embarrassing. What they got to do is win one of these games so he can come back to Houston. But I don't think it's going to happen because their pitching has been awful. And it's amazing because during the season, their ERA was number 2 in the American League.
But, John, and this is coming from a Red Sox fan. Believe me, I live in a constant state of panic. But they're not the Astros that
Braves
beat
have
up on
already
the Red
come back
Sox
to take the lead on the Rockies.
Yeah, beat up on the Red Sox all year long because the pitching is just, no McCullers, and Greinke's a shell of what he was because he pitched, twice in September?
Yeah, and he was terrible. He just doesn't have anything left. He'll be gone, just like Verlander made $35 million this year to rehab. I think he'll be back in Detroit. And I'm just enjoying Carlos Correa while I can because I fully expect him to be gone as well. And I don't know what they're going to do about their pitching. Trades they made brought in pitchers on 1-year contracts. So they're going to have to rebuild their pitching staff. And they don't have a lot of talent in the minors. And they haven't been able to have their first 2 picks the last 2 years because of the penalties for cheating. But, this era has been fun while it lasted, but I hate to see them go down in flames.
I got a chat room question or a comment from Chris. I still feel like something with the Deshaun Watson not playing and no trade in the horizon feels strange. They're paying a quarterback all of that money not to play and no urgency to trade him. Are they just stuck?
What do you mean there's no urgency to trade him? They've been trying to trade him since March. Nobody wants him because he's got the 22 civil suits. They want those suits to be resolved, and he hasn't done it. That's beyond the Texans' control.
Yeah.
He won't play here. They don't want him to play here. He's caused this franchise all kind of problems with his trade demand now with all this, where they can't trade him. Eventually they'll trade him, and they want 3 1s and 2 2s, and the best time to do it would be close to the draft because there's going to be teams that could need quarterbacks. Carolina and Denver, Miami were wanting him before. Now, Tua Tagovailoa threw for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wasn't his fault they lost to the Jaguars. But the Eagles, the Giants may give up on Daniel Jones, 2 number 1s. They're talking about benching Jared Goff in Detroit. They got 2 number 1s. You know, they want 3 1s and 2 2s. Doesn't have to be all the same season. When somebody offers it, they'll trade it.
All right, so you're go ahead, Craig. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask to follow up with. I guess you're probably going to ask yourself. 6-1, John.
Yeah,
the Baylor Bears coming off of a nice win last weekend over future Big 12 conference mate BYU. They are bowl eligible. They got the break this week, and then a pretty tough, stretch, home stretch as they close out the season. But what do you think of what you're seeing right now at 6-1 with Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears?
It's been unbelievable. What they've done with Bohannon has been fantastic. You move a defensive guy to offense, and he turns out to be one of the best running backs in the conference. And they're so much fun to watch. They're so much better in the offensive line than they were last year. And one of the things I like when I'm watching replays is all the blocking downfield. Their receivers are blocking like maniacs. That's good coaching. Aranda realized after the first year, most first-time head coaches, their first staff's their worst because they hire their friends. And then the ones that realize it and make changes and not afraid to make changes and say, I was wrong, they have the best chance for success. And we're seeing this. And I'll tell you what, it won't surprise me in a couple of years, Jeff Grimes is not a head coach based on what he's doing right now.
John, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Here come, guys. Thank you very much.
John McClain, Hall of Fame writer, Houston Chronicle, Tuesdays at around 5:30. Speaking of Abram Smith,